do, Dream Team? It's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with 5 things Germans hate hearing Americans say. Don't ever say these things in Germany. Before we dive in, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get the video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You want to subscribe to any of it? Put all the links in the description. All you got to do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Human, I'll talk back. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. What we got?
How can you easily offend a German? Say the following 5 things that they hate hearing people say.
Oh, let me know.
Or maybe I should say how to avoid offending a German by not saying these 5 things. As we have lived in Germany, we have made many cultural faux pas and linguistic errors that have brought the scorn of our German audience and distraught to those that we have conversed with. Through our painful experiences, we thought that we could share a little bit of that journey and how you can avoid making these same social blunders in Germany. So, what have we learned not to say in Germany? Well, that is exactly what we're going to talk about today in our video. Don't say in Deutschland or you'll receive a reprimand. We're going to kick things off with 2 things that we have learned will bring the fury of the German population when one uses the wrong word to refer to these particular things. Well, I use a lot of emphasis when I use the word kick because the first thing Germans hate hearing people say is the word soccer when referring to what they call Fußball. I can't even begin to tell you how many conversations that we have had, but even more so, comments we have received on our videos of upset Germans going off when we have said soccer in a video and insulted their national treasure. I have read countless times the enlightened argument as to how it makes no sense to call the sport in the US where you mostly use your hands and an egg-shaped ball, football, rather than the game where you strictly use your feet and a ball. Now, we could very easily dive into the history.
He did that on purpose. I'm sorry, I got caught in the highlight, but he hit him in the face on purpose. But yes, yeah, I understand what he's saying, and I understand the rest of the world. Know what I'm saying? We need to, if we're gonna say it, we could at least say American football, right? We could say American, and then people would understand. Okay, that's what they're talking about. But don't just be going around calling everything soccer. No, don't just be going around calling this football soccer in other countries where it's not called soccer, where it's called football, or it's called foosball, or it might have a different name. You going somewhere else, you adapt to the way they do things. I got y'all. It's foosball.
Use your hands and an egg-shaped ball, football, rather than the game where you strictly use your feet and a ball. Now, we could very easily dive into the history as to why both sports have the name that they have in American English, or I could show you maps of the world that shows the US is not the only place in the world where the game with the round ball and feet is referred to as some variation of soccer. But at the end of the day, I have just learned that this is just a fact of life in which Americans will always annoy Germans when they call this football. So rather than make this social blunder, how should you refer to each sport in Germany? Well, to be honest, if you're speaking American English with a German, it kind of just makes more sense to stick with the American English word rather than trying to mix up translations and confuse everybody. So unfortunately, you just gotta roll with soccer and then just expect that they will make a joke about the term. However, funnily enough, when speaking German, Germans refer to this football simply as American football. From what I have seen, if you were to translate that directly and say Amerikanischer Fußball, given the context, Germans would understand if you're referring to American football, but the term Amerikanischer Fußball more so refers to American soccer because Fußball is nearly exclusively reserved for the sport Americans call soccer, and Amerikanische is of course describing to where the Fußball is being played that is being talked about. If any Germans want to weigh in on these terms in the comments to help clarify how you make that distinction, that would be great.
I got y'all. I got y'all. You know what I said? But my guy said, he said you gotta just roll with soccer. You just gotta roll with it and take the consequences that come with it. So is that the right thing to do? Let me know in the comment section. Do I just gotta stick with soccer and pray I don't upset too
By
many
how
people?
you make that distinction, that would be great.
That shouldn't be
If
raw.
you ask any American what they think of when they think of traveling in Europe, or specifically in Germany, one thing that they are bound to mention are the amazing bakeries. After we moved to Germany, we immediately became obsessed with going to our local family-run bakery and trying out all the assorted baked goods, and in particular, the bread. Germans are particularly and rightfully proud of their bread, and in fact, we have made an entire video on the subject of German bread where we even visited the German Bread Museum in Ulm. But let's stop for a second because I want to ask you a question. When I say the word bread, what image pops in your mind? If you're German, you may have had a bit of a mouth-watering montage of various breads play through your head. But if you're American, you probably thought of... So just how proud of their breads are Germans? Well, one, they have a German Bread Institute that has an official registry of all the different types of breads in Germany, which has over 3,000 types of breads registered. Two, UNESCO added Germany's bread culture to its intangible cultural heritage list. Three, they have TV shows dedicated to the worship of bread. And four, this is not even considered bread in Germany. So
they got TV shows dedicated to the worship of bread. But looking at that bread in Germany, I understand, because when I see videos, just looking at this bread, this amazing, beautiful bread, I just want to jump through the screen. I just need to try it. I just have to try it.
This is not even considered bread in Germany. So the word for bread in German is Brot, but this is called toast. Well, to be fair, the full name of this is Toastbrot or toast bread, but because it really isn't considered true bread in Germany, it is often just referred to as toast. That's right. In Germany, even when it has not even been near a toaster, it is still called toast. Whereas in the US, for this bread to be called toast, it has to first be, wait for it, toasted. So what's all this about? Why don't Germans just refer to this type of bread as, well, bread? Well, to a German, all that this soft, squishy bread is good for is making toast. And as a German explains in a forum I found online, if you did not want to toast it, you would buy proper bread. So for our German audience now, I do have a clarifying question I must pose to you. If somebody like me wants a slice of what you would call toast, but I don't want it toasted, is what I have read online that I would have to ask for ungetoastetes toast? Or do I ask for something like, I don't know, raw toast? Really, what I've learned...
Can I get some untoasted toast, please? If that's cool with you, some cold toast, some can I get cold toast? I don't know how to say it. Raw toast, like I don't know. I don't know. The American in my brain is too confused because it's not toast until it goes through a toaster or it's like heated in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Or do I ask for something like, I don't know, raw toast? Really, what I have learned as I have been learning German, sometimes you can learn a translation that isn't actually said. So I found it is important to engage with native speakers by asking these types of questions so that they can just tell you how they actually talk. This is also something our good friends over at Busu can help you do. Busu is a language learning
I'm gonna go ahead and skip the sponsor, guys. If that's
platform that teaches the world's most popular languages and has a lot of really great features like one-on-one tutoring with native speakers, the Busu community where you can interact with native speakers.
You're not who you think.
Of course, an overwhelming majority of US Americans are not native to North America, and therefore, this leads to a big question for many Americans as to where their family originally comes from. Because of that, a fairly popular business in the US are genealogical DNA tests that take a swab of your DNA, you send it into a lab, and they are supposed to be able to paint a picture of where your family geographically originated from. And according to census.gov, in October of 2021, more than 40 million Americans claim German ancestry. Now, my family has traced our family tree back hundreds of years and have a pretty good idea of who we are and where we came from. I grew up knowing that despite my family having been in the New World since before the American Revolution, I was part English and Irish and, like apparently 40 million other Americans, German. Sure, I of course identified as a United States citizen, but a big part of my identity also is in the fact that my family came from those European countries. And I, like many other Americans, looked forward to the day that I could travel back to the land that we came from to connect with my people. But what I found was kind of surprising. And that is that nobody in Germany would ever say that I am German, and they don't really care to think that you are. Okay, I obviously know that I am not German in the sense that I do not have a German citizenship, but in the US, it is extremely common for people to talk about their ancestral heritage and say a sentence like, I am German, or I am part German and part English. When it
very common for people in the U.S. to say that. I don't say any of that. All I go off is what my parents is. What are my parents? African American, Hispanic. I'm mixed, but most of the time in the USA, I'm looked at as an African American, so I'm just African American basically. That's it. Or an American.
Sentence like, I am German, or I am part German and part English. When it comes to a true passport holding German, if you or your parents weren't both in Germany, and it actually politically and socially can get even more complicated, then you are just American. Pure American, and that's pretty much it. So unfortunately, if you are American and want to come to Germany and proclaim to the Germans you meet that you are one of them, don't expect them to act impressed or that you are truly one of them. Sure, they will probably act friendly to you when you tell them you're German, but they really aren't buying it, and they don't care so much to even hear you try and claim that you are a part of them.
I feel that. I am a little
One thing that we have been surprised to find out while living in Germany is how superstitious Germans are. Well, they may not all actually be superstitious, but a lot of German traditions are old superstitions that they continue to practice for either the fun of it or just simply because it is tradition. One such tradition is a very important cultural difference between Americans and Germans that you must know about when living in Germany, or else you can cause a German friend to have a bad day, a bad year, or even death. And that is that Germans hate hearing you wish them happy birthday early. Now, there are more pragmatic Germans out there.
I have heard of this. I've seen this in a different video. It's just something you don't do. I'm not a superstitious person at all, though. Like, I don't
wish them happy birthday early. Now, there are more pragmatic Germans out there that would say this isn't based on superstition for them at all, but rather just, why would you wish someone a happy birthday if it isn't actually their birthday? And which you gotta give it to them, this definitely makes some sense. However, in the US, it can be the opposite and almost rude if you don't wish someone happy birthday in some social situations, even if it isn't their birthday. For example, you see someone a few days before their birthday that you know you won't see again on their birthday. In the US, you should go ahead and wish them an early happy birthday. So besides those pragmatic Germans, what exactly are the superstitions and reasons Germans don't like being told happy birthday unless it is between midnight the night before their birthday and through 23:59 the night of the big day? Well, we have
I just want to say I never wish anybody early happy birthday. Anybody that I'm not going to see, I can text or I can find on social media and wish them a happy birthday on their birthday. Or if anything, it'll be late happy birthday, but it will never be early. But it's wishing a late happy birthday, wishing them an early happy birthday for the next year. Good question.
Before their birthday and through 23:59 the night of the big day. Well, we have heard a lot of different reasons from different Germans, but a big part of the reasoning comes from either a religious belief of you are provoking God who is in control and it is like you are making plans for him. Some say it is just tempting fate by assuming things will turn out before they happen, and often the belief is that it can bring bad luck, a bad birthday, a bad year, or possibly even death.
Worst
now, Of all the things that we have come across that Germans get irritated hearing people say, there is one thing that aggravates them the most. Well, at least about 84% of the population of Germany. And that is the lederhosen wearing, beer drinking, white sausage eating, polka dancing German is true German culture. However, the truth is quite the opposite, and is why Germans who aren't from Bavaria hate hearing this trope. One thing Germany does not seem in short supply of is different regional cultures, and unfortunately, it is just Bavarian culture that is often the most recognizable outside of Germany. A quick explanation as to why this is the case can be seen when you look at a map of Bavaria and a map of the region the Americans occupied after World War II. You can see how they almost perfectly line up, and when the American troops were sending postcards home of where they were, this became what Germany was in American minds because it was all that they were exposed to. If you travel across Germany, you will find an extremely wide array of traditional clothing, foods and drinks, culture, and even language, as we have discussed in our video on the wide range of German dialects. Beyond that, thanks to globalization, if you take a look at a modern stereotypical American and a stereotypical German, the differences will sometimes be hard to actually see. So don't travel to North Germany and expect to ask a German for their best Weisswurst and beer. Rather, try grabbing a Fischbrötchen and a Fritz Cola. To see who made it this far into the video, the random question of the week is Käsekuchen or Käsespätzle? Which is the better cheesy dish? Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and I will see you in our next video. The comments below to help clarify let's stop for a second because I want to ask you a question. Airplanes, go away. You guys can hear that, right? I think the mic can pick up the airplanes. They're flying literally right above my head.
I can't hear it. That's all we got for this one. You guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You want to subscribe to any of it, put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy Neal, out.